Do we have ratings yet before we sign off?
We do, in fact, have ratings. And I'm not surprised by this, and I don't think anyone else should be. AEW, I shall give NXT first. NXT was a mystery for a little while we were recording because they did not chart in the top 50. So people had to go out and find the ratings. 619,000 for NXT. AEW, 792,000.
So that's down from last week for both programs, I believe, from what I remember. And there's about 173,000 folks in there. That's our group. That's our group. About 173,000.
Now, is this the last AEW show on a regular Wednesday night for a while?
I think it is.
So it'll be interesting to see, the next few months are going to be very interesting for AEW.
Do any more than the swing audience? The swing audience you talked about, that 150 or 200,000, probably our people that go either way in the course of the week's ratings. Do they all go? Do any more go to NXT since they're unopposed on Wednesday? Do any more go to AEW unopposed on Saturday?
I don't know, because I got to be very honest with you. And I think the people who dismiss the idea of there being a significant Cornette audience watching the shows just for the review are people who have no earthly idea of how well these shows do and just can't comprehend the fact that these shows are as popular. They're the biggest wrestling podcasts out there right now.
Well, I don't want to be
no, but I'm just saying
one of those back patters.
With that said, I think it affects AEW more than NXT. NXT is not a fun program.
It's not
it's
fun.
Dry. It's just it's dry.
If you're looking for good talent to critique and view them, you can see them in their natural habitat there, but it's not a real fun program to watch.
AEW, it's easy to hate watch.
Yeah,
or to watch.
Like, I can't believe they're doing this. What the fuck? How bad can this get?
Like, people watch that show and just pop thinking about what you will say. I don't think anyone watches NXT, like, with the exception of the Cosmic Fireball coming out of a folder.
Yeah.
No one's like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what Jim says about, what? Robert Stone getting run over?
When you're watching supposed professionals basically fall on their ass and not be able to figure out how to grab holes, it's funny, and you want someone with more experience and a wider vocabulary to articulate it in a funny way. So that's what we do.
So next week,
we'll see. Okay, this is July now. Remember the numbers for July. Number 3 with 3,504,000 NXT. Number 2, 3,532,317 Jim Cornette. Number 1, 3,869,000 NXT.
AEW.
AEW. I've only got can't do the math. About 337,000, and I will be in a dead heat. Me and NXT. We'll see what happens. I'm coming for you. AEW. I keep saying that. All petite wrestling.
Well, actually, to be fair and to be honest, based on our year-to-year growth, we will be at that point.
We'll pass them. What, in November?
Oh, no.
Rate.
I think that's quite liberal. I would be a little more conservative and say it would be at some point next year. Based on these numbers and the way we're tallying them, I would say it would happen at some point, probably spring or summer 2021.
I don't think it'll take that long.
I'm being conservative. When it comes to money and numbers, I like to be conservative.
But we're gaining viewers, whereas they're losing them or staying in the same place. So I expect that we'll meet in the middle here quicker than next summer.
We'll see. I like to be a lot more conservative when it comes to money and figures and numbers, and I'm gonna give a far out. Now, you know plenty about me being conservative with numbers from dealing with me.
All right. Do you have any more conservative thoughts before we wind this one up?
Fuck these shows. I really just want to watch something that I like. We have to figure out what we're going to do next week on the show because I don't.
Well, that's right. The war is disrupted.
The war is disrupted. Maybe we have a guest. Maybe we do something else. Maybe we bring the watch along here for a week if we're going to have to do the reviews on the other show.
Well, that's true, because also we have not determined to watch along for this Sunday on the Drive-Thru. Last week, of course, was Bret Hart and Steve Austin from WrestleMania, which got a lot of positive feedback. That's what we cleanse the palate with the great matches from whatever era on Sundays, and then we put ourselves in a bad mood, or on Mondays, I should say, the drive-through, and put ourselves in a bad mood on Friday for this. But next week, we'll do something. We'll do something, as my mother used to say, even if it's wrong. Next week here on the program and on the drive-through as well, this coming fine Monday. But lots of big events coming up. We may have to do the fucking pay-per-view thing too.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. I mean, you say pay-per-view. Pay-per-view for AEW is in September, and there's a WWE pay-per-view at some point coming up, but for not this drive-through, the one after that, are we going to do TakeOver in AEW?
I guess we have to.
Because they're both Saturday events.
Well, then we'll have to be a day late, maybe. We should work this out amongst ourselves before we do it publicly. But there's no way I'm watching 2 fucking shows the same night and recording the very next morning. So something's got to give.
I just want one serious wrestling show.
What about just a serious wrestling show?
Just one. I just want one person who's well financed to show up.
Just the tip. Just put the tip of the serious wrestling show in.
No, I want the whole tip in the shaft and balls deep of serious wrestling. I'm sick of this shit.
You want to be completely protruded by a serious blue vein throbbing wrestling program.
I don't want to be protruded, but I don't mind watching the protrusion happen.
So you want to watch somebody else be protruded by a serious blue vein throbber wrestling program. Protruded over and over.
You've taken this right on
into a very disturbing direction.
Right onto your front lawn again.
Right out there with the dog fucking on the front yard. And folks, and please remember to spay and neuter your pets and also your Outlaw Mud Show wrestlers, and we wouldn't be in this position. And folks, until next week or the next show or whatever else we do, for the millions and millions of you out there, thank you. Fuck you. Bye-bye, everybody.